What is going on, guys? Today, the Laurel is making a comeback. We've just loaded Anthony's car up with a bunch of parts and wheels. We're gonna go and put this thing back together. It's been at Anthony's parents' place for the last month and a little bit. We pretty much parted it out. We didn't film it last time. We've got all of the parts in the back here. We're gonna go put it back together and bring it back here. Let's do it.
Got the goods. That 15's totaled. That's a sad sight.
We've made it to Anthony's parents' place. You can see the Laurel behind me. And as you would have seen in the B-roll before, it's looking a bit bare. Last time we were here, we pulled pretty much all the parts off this to go onto Anthony's S14 drift car. And recently, very recently, as in like this morning, we decided that we're gonna try and get this car ready for chrome expression session, which is in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's very soon.
We've got a lot of work to do. Today we're going to be putting all of the knuckles, arms and everything in this car so we can tow it to the workshop. We've got all these parts to go in, rear hubs, front hubs. We're going to be putting the brake discs back on just so the wheels space out a bit. We're not too sure if these are going to end up hitting the coilover or not. So we brought those just to make sure that it's not going to. We don't have a diff in this car, but we did bring some broken axles because we're going to be A-framing this and the axle actually helps hold the hub together. Anthony's got them right here.
I wonder who did this.
I think one of those is mine and one of those came out of this car. While we're doing this, we got D1 Pro Sport on the live stream, supporting our boys 7.2 Motorsport, Guy, Ra, and Jimmy Oaks. Not going to go into too much right now about the plans for it before Chrome, but I will say the forged motor is going back in this car. You got to be pretty excited.
I'm so excited. I haven't driven anything fun since this got pulled apart. Literally, the last thing fun I drove was this. I'm gonna write it off. I'm just like not gonna know what to do with the power anymore. Just gonna put my foot down and we're gonna hit something very hard. Not on the street though, because we can't do that.
We're not going to ramble on too much. We're going to get straight into it. I'm going to set this camera up and do a bit of a time lapse. We'll get some more B-roll of us putting this car together.
First of our top 8 battles.
That's going to throw it backwards, that's the question. You're going to throw it back. Here we go. Keep going. update, I have done my rear side, my front side, and done most of his front side. He's only wrapping up on the rear now. Having a bit of trouble there, mate.
Blame it on the twisted subframe, not my absolute lack of mechanical abilities and knowledge at all. Turn the adjusty.
This one that's in.
Yeah.
Right, we have finally got the Laurel all back together. It's been a bit of a mission. The rear subframe is a little bit twisted, both sides. It's quite difficult to try and get a lot of the bolts in to line up properly. But to make things worse, it's been super freaking hot today. The sun's been blaring down on us. We're both sweaty as, but the car is about ready to go back on the ground. Anthony's actually just gone to grab one of his mates. He's going to give us a hand lifting up Anthony's S14 once we get back to the workshop. So we now got an extra car that we need to fit in there, so we're going to have to do some rearranging. Left a little bit. Straight. Turn right. Right guys, the Laurel is on the A-frame, connected to my old man's Commodore. We're about to take it back to the workshop, and this is a pretty good feeling because I'm excited to see this thing come back to life. It's going to be sick. I bet you're stoked.
Full chode right now. I'm so happy.
Alright, let's get this thing to the workshop. We're waiting for Anthony's mate to come to the workshop and give us a hand, so meanwhile we're having a few beers, having a feed. Good. Cheers boys. No, this is gonna happen.
This is happening.
This is gonna happen. Alright, is it recording? Alright, me and this guy, so the time that you guys are watching this is probably like 4 or 5 years down the line.
Couple months. We're not technussers.
Alright, maybe a couple months.
Tomorrow.
We're
I
gonna
got a tattoo gun, boys.
No, if I'm gonna get his face on my ass, I want it to be like decent quality.
I can do a stick man.
We're gonna get each other's faces tattooed on our asses because, you know, it's just man love. That's just
the one.
Yeah. Alright, here we go.
There's video evidence. Matthew, you need to save this.
Alright, we're back. I just moved my S14 out of the lot. I didn't realise that my we're back. He's drunk. We're back. I'm half cut. I just moved my S14 out of here. I forgot that I disconnected the coils and the ignition wasn't firing, so I tried starting it up. It flooded the motor with gas. I had an epiphany. connected that back in, started it up, it's shot a flame, you guys saw that. S14's out there, we're about to move the Safiro forward so we can then move Anthony's S14 to the side. Then we're going to move the Seth back in, get Anthony's Laurel in, then move my S14 back in. That alignment is great. Oh wait, the alignment's good. Oh, we're moving in. Look at this cleanly child. Hey, clean workshop's a good workshop. This workshop's never clean. Hey, we cleaned it up. It is occasionally, and it just gets real dirty for a long period of time, and then it gets clean.
But it gets dirty after about 2 days.
Yes.
Like, I leave
But
it
it's
bad, it's trash.
Hey, but it's still clean for 2 days.
Pure Koto.
To my
Oh man. So that's RB25 big box bell housing welded to D40 Navara gearbox.
Here we have Half-Cut Anthony trying to explain RB things to a guy with a mullet.
No, I'm a muscle guy, mate. Muscle is my specialty.
Muscle, you reckon?
Yeah.
You can't fucking drink.
Toyota Starlets, bro. Toyota Starlets.
Right, get this piece of shit RB moved so we can move this
What
S14.
did you just say?
I said piece of shit RB.
You know, after this camera turns off,
Oh, don't forget to add the
something.
piece of shit Condoms. Get them.
drunk RB antics.
Does this make my butt look big?
Right, that's enough. Well, this will be an interesting YouTube.
It's gonna be so professional. They're both real half-cut.
Yeah, hey.
When? Alright, guys. Ah! Something's bending in my hand. Alright, bend the whole place.
I'm a short person.
Alright, ready? Sure. My dad is awesome. Back. Yep. Hurry up, Matthew. Matthew, hurry up. I can't believe this. Matthew, faster.
Come on, man.
Alright. Is it all in the right spot?
It's the next day on, we sewed up a little bit. We're about to push the Laurel outside and give it a water blast. The last time we used this car was fours and rotors and we did grass carnet in it. Got the car super dirty and we didn't clean it after that. It's sat in the garage for the last couple of months as well and it's just collected a lot of dirt and dust. The engine bay is super oily and greasy as well. So we're going to clean it up a bit, get it looking better, and then we're going to roll it back in here and we're going to talk a little bit about what our plans are for this and what you guys can expect to come up over the next couple of weeks. We don't have much time to get this car sorted for chrome, but it's going to be pretty sick, so stay tuned. The rail's had a water blast. Realistically, it needs a good hand wash, but it definitely looks a lot better than it did. The engine bay's way better, and yeah, got it back in the workshop. So we're gonna go over a little bit of the plans for this, and this came together super last minute, yesterday in fact. We are running a little bit short on content. we've had a few hold-ups with the Severo, which you guys will find out in a video later this week or possibly early next week. So I came up with the idea to actually put Anthony's Laurel back together, because he was also talking not too long ago about how he misses it and how we could have actually probably chucked a new manifold on it and kept it running until we needed the motor for his S14. So the plan is the forged motor is going to be going back into the Laurel, but it will come out and eventually go into Anthony's S14. But because that car is still probably going to be about 6 months until it's done, instead of having the forged motor just sitting there, we are going to put it back in this and get it running, and you got to be stoked on that.
I'm very stoked. I have missed it. That's about my whole spectrum of emotion right now. I'm just stoked.
We've got quite a bit of work to do before it's going to be ready for chrome. We're going to have to sort this rear end out. Probably going to look at getting a new subframe, because just the sheer amount of power that this thing makes, it's just literally twisted the rear subframe to the point where we could not get the tow arm in on this side. And you guys probably would have been able to tell in the clip of towing it here that the wheel's mad on the piss, because yeah, it doesn't have a tow arm in it. So we're gonna have to address that. A couple of the ball joints in the front are a bit cooked, so we'll probably end up replacing those as well. I'd say we should, because yeah, they are a bit cooked.
Yeah, they're spinny boys now.
As for turbo side for this, you guys are aware that the Synco manifold that was on this, I got, and it's now on my drift car. So the manifold that came off my drift car, I've given to Anthony, and we've got that here. It's got a 38mm gate on it, which is way too small, especially to control nearly 700 horsepower. But Anthony has already brought this Turbo Smart Hyper Gate. It's a 45mm wastegate. I'm gonna get this chopped off tomorrow and get the 45 welded onto it. And then this is gonna go onto the forged motor and go onto the Laurel. For those that are new and don't know the specs of this motor, I'll let Anthony tell you guys a little bit about it.
Oh, it's been a while, I've forgotten. It has a lot of head work done, so big port and polish, Calford 272 cams, CP forged pistons, Manly H-beam rods, ARP everything.
Crank collar, billet gears.
Yeah, all that stuff. The only thing this motor essentially doesn't have is a billet crank. So that limits it to around the 800 wheel mark, but she's a pretty stout motor and loves the Limmy.
So this motor made about, was it 677 horsepower on high boost and water meth?
Yep.
We're not going to be running it on water meth this time. We are going to get it retuned, because this manifold is a different design to the Synco. So we're going to take it and get it retuned before chrome, just to make sure everything is safe and happy, because the last thing we want to do is go and blow up this very expensive motor. So we're probably going to be aiming for around I'd say around the 600 horsepower mark.
Yeah, 600, just over, I'll be happy. It should still go all right.
No, 100%. So yeah, it's going to make about 600 horsepower. It's going to be a lot of fun for chrome. And the plan is to actually get this thing legal as well. We're going to take it for a warrant, get that all sorted. And we're also going to do panel and paint on this car. So that's the one downside about this car, is the bodywork on it. The drivetrain in it has been super stout, but this thing does need panel and paint. And you might ask yourself, why are we going to get it warranted and paint it when we plan to pull this motor back out? Well, my motor that is in my drift car, we're going to eventually pull that out, and that motor is going to go in this. And you guys know that I have two 25 det heads there, a couple 25 det blocks down there, and I'm going to build myself a new motor for my drift car. So yeah, when I do that, the motor is going to come out of my drift car and it's going to go into this. At that point, it'll probably make about 400, 450 horsepower. So this car is not going to be a power monster for a long time, but while it is a power monster, you're going to get to enjoy it.
I'm going to beat the piss out of it, and then I'm going to have a cry when it's making less power.
That's going to pretty much wrap this video up here, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. I have edited this video up to what we've just filmed today, and I'm so stoked with how it's turned out. I think the quality has gone through the roof, and I've got to thank this guy right here for it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. That'll be it for this one. Cheers for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.